Every generation claims the right to celebrate the modern. Yet perhaps no other time or place has earned the right more completely than Paris in the first 2 decades of the century. The period called by some the Crazy Years saw the city become a centre of art, music, literature and philosophy. An era marked by a sense of unlimited possibility, a whirlwind of innovation, culture and ideas that had never before been voiced. A time when the sensual, spontaneous Paris was on a collision course with the machine age. It was this scene that enticed a young Irish student named Eileen Gray. Having been raised in the privileged world of Ireland's aristocracy, Eileen had rejected the debutante world of the 19th century. Paris offered Eileen the freedom to break with convention, the chance to live independently of her family ties and position. After moving there in 1907, she found unparalleled opportunities. Women enjoyed unprecedented access to education and the ability to participate in artistic and intellectual life. It was a time of rapid technological advancement, and she was quick to embrace the machine age. For Miss Gray, who had acquired her taste for speed early, the possibilities were many. She was one of the first women in Europe to be issued a driving licence, and she would drive ambulances throughout the First War. Ballooning with Charles Rolls of Rolls-Royce fame led to flying lessons and becoming an accomplished aviatrix. The streets of Paris were full of women enjoying new freedoms, professionally and romantically. Eileen began an affair with Marie-Louise Damiens, best known as Damia, a celebrated chanson actress and nightclub owner. They became a familiar sight driving through the boulevards in her newly invented convertible, with Damia's pet panther seated in the back. It would be from here that Eileen, the designer, would emerge. Gray's discovery of lacquer work marked the beginning of her professional success. Originally inspired by Art Nouveau and Art Deco, her work quickly began to stand apart, as recognised in this 1917 critique from Vogue magazine. Gray's lacquer screens caught the attention of prominent hat designer Suzanne Talbot, who asked Gray to decorate her lavish apartment on the Rue de Lota. The commission included designs for a complete interior: walls, floors, fixtures and furniture. The apartment took Eileen 4 years to complete. It was a resounding success with critics and fashionable society. It was for this environment that Gray first designed the Bibendum armchair. The chair was relatively large, yet still light enough for a woman to reposition. Its depth was approximately 84 centimetres, its height 74 centimetres. The visible frame was made of a new machine-age material, polished chromium-plated steel tube. Eileen had already pioneered using chromium steel in an earlier light fixture, perhaps the first designer ever to do so. The seat frame was made of beechwood with rubber webbing interwoven across the base of the seat to provide added comfort. The seat back and arm rests were encased in soft pale leather. Like the apartment interior design itself, the Bibendum straddles its two contemporary worlds of design, Art Deco and the movement Eileen was becoming increasingly attracted to, modernism. The voluptuous leather embrace of the seat, despite the clean functionality of the steel base, embody these overlapping boundaries. At a time when modernism was beginning to teach us to think of house as machine, Gray developed a luxuriant take on modernist ideals of geometric forms and industrially produced materials. Gray identified with the movement's stripped-back aesthetics and minimal embellishment, but not with their lack of response to current lifestyles, all user comfort. Three tiers of plush padding were the inspiration for its name. Bibendum is the French name of the popular Michelin tire company mascot. The character is evoked through his tubular shape and by the unconventional material used in the original construction of the chair, rubber. The character had a catchphrase at the time, "Nunc aut Bibendum." This was a commonly used Latin quote meaning, "Now is the time to drink." The designer's invitation is implicit. This chair is meant for comfort, humour, and good times. After Bibendum, Eileen Gray would go on to design an astonishing portfolio of works. Yet almost every major piece was designed for a specific friend to enjoy. Her departure from the restrictions of modernist teachings and manifestos allowed her to address the occupant's psychological and spiritual needs. Of modernist theorists, such as Le Corbusier, she said, "Their excessive intellectuality would like to suppress whatever is marvellous in life. A house is not a machine to live in." She believed that however utilitarian or functional, a house should always be a home. In 1980, Dieter Rams described an essential element of good designers. Good designers must always be avant-gardist, always one step ahead of the times. They should and must question everything generally thought to be obvious. They must have an intuition for people's changing attitudes, for the reality in which they live, for their dreams, their desires, their worries, their needs, their living habits. Gray's successful intuition for society's changing attitudes, for their desires and living habits, is evident when we consider the Bibendum's popularity since its rediscovery in the 1960s. Our renewed interest in Gray's life and works is testament to the relevancy of her design. Today, the Bibendum chair is more admired and valued than ever. Its influence and importance recognised internationally by critics, designers, and perhaps for her most importantly, homemakers. Defying easy categorisation, Gray never liked to be considered an Art Deco designer or a modernist. She preferred to think of herself only as modern.